This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Now,
the Unchain Convention, we are very proud, or we are very happy to present your meetup, your webinar this time. Manuel and Max, the co-founders of Money on Chain, will present their very exciting and so far as I know, the only Bitcoin collateralized stablecoin project so far. And yeah, you will also have the chance. Maybe this is a good appetizer for you to visit our conference in August. We have invited Manuel also to have a talk at our conference in Frankfurt, bringing back that new exciting stablecoin project to the and yeah, we are very excited to learn more about the project that is demanding. I know that you are working hard since a long time on that, and that there are different elements also you're cooperating with, like RSK, IOB Labs, and you're part of a very vital Latin American ecosystem, Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. So we are proud, we're happy to having you. So it's up to you. Thanks for being here, Manuel.
Thank you, Oscar, and thank you for having me here. And thank you also for the invitation for Frankfurt. As I mentioned before, I really would hope that everything changes and I can take a flight to Frankfurt and to be in that amazing conference. What I'm going to present now is a more hands-on presentation about the project. It's not what I plan to present in Unchain. So if we met in Unchain, I will be more speaking about why we built and the ethos behind Money on Chain. Obviously, anyone who wants to know about the roots of this project and why we think that a decentralized Bitcoin collateralized stablecoin is needed for Bitcoiners, I will be mainly talking about that. Whatever the project, obviously, I expect that Money on Chain will be the project that will succeed on bringing Bitcoin to stablecoins and Bitcoin to DeFi. But mainly the founders of Money on Chain are Bitcoiners who want to as it says here, we want to bring Bitcoin to the mainstream. And the main reason why we build that is we understand that having a Bitcoin collateralized stablecoin will make much easier for Bitcoin to be used for a much wider audience. So let's go to this presentation. You can interrupt me whenever you want if something is not clear, but maybe it's easier. I will do an introduction without using the application. Then I will do a live demo of how to use the application. I hope you also think as me that this is a very easy to use application. And afterwards, we can do a Q&A and ask me anything you want. And Max, which is one of the other co-founders, is going to join me on this Q&A. So also I live here. We have a community chat in Telegram, which is quite active in English. You can look for that in our webpage, and also we are very active in Twitter for anyone who wants to be updated about the news about our project. That we are having many. There's many things that we are still building. So regarding what we have built and what we are building, first having a very high flight look at what we have built. We already have a stablecoin platform, which is it includes a stablecoin token, which is the dollar on chain. It includes a token which been built thinking on Bitcoin hodlers or holders. This is a token. The BPRO is a token that is built for Bitcoiners who has their Bitcoins in their treasure and they are not having any usage for that Bitcoin. So it is like putting to work your Bitcoins. So for Bitcoin holders, we have built this token, which is like a dream token for a Bitcoiner. And then we have thought about the traders who do leverage operations. We understand that this is the main three uses that normally has the Bitcoiners. They normally or they trade their Bitcoin for a stable coin or a dollar in an exchange when they think that the Bitcoin price is going to go down, or they need to exchange part of their Bitcoin for a stable coin. So we have this stable coin, which is the Unchain, which is Bitcoin, but stable. We have the BPRO, and then we have the leverage positions. Then, as I mentioned before, we are building many important pieces of the platform of the project. One is a decentralized exchange where you will be able to trade any RSK and any RC20 token, which are the token that runs onto the RSK network. And this is going to be maybe the first. I know that there is another project building a decentralized exchange. We built this especially because in certain cases there might not be liquidity for BPRO tokens to be able to return to the protocol. So we need a secondary market. Also, we are looking for other centralized exchange to list this BPRO token. Obviously, it's a token that we are going to see that is you can trade it peer-to-peer, but we think that it's important to have a decentralized exchange where you can trade this token. So we build this piece that has something that is particular about this decentralized exchange that is being built for trading low volume tokens. It has a different way to trade the tokens. It's been built especially for certain cases. The other thing that we are building right now is oracles, the centralized oracle. We have analyzed all oracles that are in the market. We understand that there are some improvements to be done to those oracles, and we are building these decentralized oracles that are going to feed the data, especially to our protocol, but also will be able to be used by other decentralized protocols, other DeFi protocols that are going to run in RSK. And now we have this information is oracles that are quite centralized, how they inform the price. These protocols, these oracles are going to be decentralized, and we are going to explain more maybe in future presentations. And the other thing that we are working on right now is the governance of all these smart contracts. All that we have built, the stablecoin platform, is smart contracts, which are governed right now. We have the possibility of doing upgrades and change of the parameters. We don't hold any of this in a bank account. Obviously, it's all in Bitcoin. But the idea is that all the upgrades of this platform will be governed in a completely decentralized way. And the way to do it, to be able to achieve that, is to issue these MOC tokens. We plan to issue this by the end of this year, most probably January 2021. And it will have several use cases. So it will be a utility token. For example, you will be able to pay the fees of the platform with a special discount. And if you hold if you stake the token, you will be able to receive part of the fees of the platform. So it will have several use cases. But one of the most important cases, if not the most important case for the existence of this token, is that this platform for us needs to be decentralized. It has to be like Bitcoin, and the only way to make it decentralized is to have a governance token, and so you don't depend on anybody but on a community who uses the protocol. So, but today I'm not going to go deeply on MOC or the MOC oracles or the text. Obviously, in the Q&A section, you can ask me anything you want about that. But let's focus now on the stablecoin platform. That is what is already running, and you are going to be able to use it if you are not using that right now. So why for us, for the people who is behind this project is important Bitcoin? Well, we understand that this is one of the two most important features is that it allows to do a peer-to-peer transaction to transfer value, and also because it is decentralized. There is no one authority, or there is not one person that can change the rules. It's very, very difficult to change the rules. So we thought about how to build this with stable coins, and when we think about the dollar Unchain, maybe the two most important features is to allow to have a stable coin that will be peer-to-peer and decentralized and censorship resistant. So all the characteristics that have Bitcoin, but stable. So why we understand that Bitcoin needs a decentralized stablecoin backed by Bitcoin? Well, mainly because nearly all the other stablecoins are or not backed by Bitcoin. There is now some stablecoin that's starting to use a little bit of Bitcoin as the collateral, but most of what you have when you have other stablecoins, you are not using Bitcoin. If you have a dollar on chain, what you are using is Bitcoin, but stable. You are not holding other coins. The other reason why we build this is many Bitcoiners say or think or expect that the Bitcoin volatility will disappear. And in our case, we think that in the long term, Bitcoin volatility is not going to disappear. And for the adoption of the stable coin, for the adoption of Bitcoin, we need something which is stable, that is much easier to use for any user, and when you are not risking with the volatility. So if we see, this is a graph of the volatility of gold in the last 100 years, and gold is money that's been used by humanity since ever. So if gold, which has a 7 trillion market cap, has a lot of volatility, well, even if Bitcoin goes up in price and it's much wider usage, we don't expect that the price of Bitcoin will not have volatility. So we think it's needed for the user adoption of Bitcoin to have a stablecoin backed by Bitcoin. And this is a picture that we always show. This is a picture been taken in Espacio Bitcoin, in Bitcoin Embassy, Buenos Aires. And this is how Bitcoiners sell and trade things. Normally 99% of, or 99.9% of transactions of Bitcoiners are still in US dollar terms. So we are not used to think and to trade in Satoshi terms. Obviously, we are most Bitcoiners are used to think and to to hold in Bitcoins, and you think how many Bitcoin you have, but you trade in US dollars. So we think that the adoption of Bitcoin through stablecoin will make people, Bitcoiners' life much easier. And instead of exchanging dollars, you will be exchanging Bitcoin. So what are the main characteristics of this stablecoin? Well, first is $1 on chain is one US dollar. The price is pegged. Not that it's backed by US. There is no bank account, as I mentioned. But the price is fixed to the US dollar. This is actually something quite different to other stablecoins, because most of the other stablecoins, the price are set by the market. In our case, the price is set by the smart contract. So you have like a guarantee by the smart contract that you will be able to redeem your your dollar on chain and receive the equivalent of US dollars in Bitcoins. Okay, so if you redeem $1,000 on chain, you will receive at that moment the equivalent of $1,000, but in Bitcoin. Okay, and this is guaranteed, as I mentioned, by the smart contract. This is a huge difference with other stablecoin. Obviously, it's easy to transfer. You can transfer through your MetaMask or your Nifty wallet, and shortly there is already RSK is launching the mobile wallet, which is called, up to my knowledge, R wallet, and there is other project building new wallets to make it easy to transfer, and is obviously is it's not is censorship resistant. You can transfer, and you can hold it secured by a hardware wallet. So use cases, of course, as I mentioned, to buy and to sell goods and services. So instead of having, you can set your prices in US dollar terms or in dollar chain terms. So it's easy for people to trade. And of course, if you want to store your value in dollars, especially this is something very important for Latin America, but also in the future, we are talking, we've been doing similar webinars with Spanish communities, and many people had asked for having an euro chain. This is already in our plan. We hopefully we can launch it this year. And so maybe people want to store their value in US terms or in euro terms or whatever. So you can choose. You can choose to store your value in dollars terms if you want. And also, of course, for remittances, we think that is very, as you can use Bitcoin to send it to anybody you want, you can do the same with dollar chain. So this will make much easier remittances, because now if you do remittances normally in Bitcoin, one of the main problems is volatility, and then you don't have to think about that problem anymore. And how you can exchange it, as we will see, you can use now the most easy way to get to operate the platform. I did not mention, but of course you need RBTC. All this being built onto RSK network. The main reason why we built onto RSK is because it was the only network available at that moment to build this kind of smart contracts with Bitcoin as collateral. And you can exchange your BTC to RBTC through CoinSwitch, or you can get your dollar on chain and then from RBTC go to dollar on chain using our platform, or you can do it directly. If you have Bitcoin, you don't need to interact with our platform. You can exchange it directly. It's listed in CoinSwitch, and you can switch that directly from Bitcoin to dollar chain and vice versa. And obviously, we are talking with other with other exchanges, and hopefully they list also the dollar chain. And as I mentioned, you can use the platform. through CoinSwitch, you get RBTC and you interact with the platform and you get your dollar on chain and vice versa. That's the most easiest way. There are others, but that's the easiest. And regarding the wallets, as I mentioned, you can store it protected by Ledger and Trezor, and you will to interact with the platform and to hold your tokens. You can hold it through Nifty, MetaMask, and as I mentioned, there are other wallets that are coming very soon. But with Nifty and MetaMask, you can protect it with Ledger and with Trezor. So that's about a summary about the stablecoin. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the BPRO. So always we say that Money on Chain is a stablecoin platform, but we have different tokens. So BPRO is a completely different token to a stablecoin. Up to my knowledge, is something completely different that doesn't exist in the market. And this is being built for Bitcoiners, especially for Bitcoin holders that are not giving a use for their Bitcoin. So the characteristic of the BPRO, if I have to explain very shortly, this is a Bitcoin with steroids. Okay, so when the price of Bitcoin increases, the price of this token will increase further and vice versa. So if the price of Bitcoin goes down, it will go down further, but that's because this token has a small leverage, but this is small, so the risk of liquidation is very low. But it has this: when the price of Bitcoin goes up, it will go higher, and vice versa. Then it has, beside that small leverage, that this token has a passive income, which is paid in RBTC. So every day there is a third actor in this system, which are the traders that do leverage operations. And the traders, to do this leverage operation, have to pay an interest rate. So the users, the BPRO holders, will receive this interest rate that pays as a passive income. So they will be receiving each day a portion of this interest being paid by the BTCX users. And then it will earn part of the fees of the platform. The metric, the parameter will be set in 20% of the fees of the platform will be earned by the BPRO holders. So the people who are the BPRO holders are a very important piece of this platform. If the BPRO holders do not put their Bitcoin as collateral, there is no way to issue dollar on chain. So there is many incentives, and one of the incentives is a portion of all the fees of the platform will go to the people who put the collateral to be able to issue the dollar on chain. And then it has another incentive, which is like a subsidy. And as I mentioned, we will have a MOC token that will receive several revenue streams from the platform. And also it adds, it will have this 10% of the MOC token will go to the BPRO holder. So it's a way also to share the governance onto the people who puts most of the collateral for the system to run. And as I mentioned, with the dollar on chain, this is a token that is transferable, and you can secure it with a hardware wallet. And it's going to be exchangeable. You will be able to trade these tokens in our decentralized exchange that we hope to open to the public very shortly, and if not, in any other exchange that will be interested to list the token, and of course peer-to-peer, because it's a transferable token. So regarding how we expect this is normally everybody asks me, well, but what would you expect the yield of the BPRO? So we cannot be, as I mentioned before, there are several factors that influence the price of the BPRO. So in part, it's been influenced by the price of the Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, it will be a little bit higher, and if Bitcoin goes down, it will be a little bit lower. But that leverage that influences the price of the BPRO is variable, and it depends on many factors. But one of the most important factors is the demand of the BTCX operations. So we cannot say definitely how this will go, but what we have done before launching this platform, we built a simulation machine, and we did several thousands of simulations on the system, especially not only for analyzing the performance of the BPRO, but mainly the main reason was to be sure that the system had a very low risk of being liquidated. So to adjusting the parameters and to setting the system, we ran all these simulations, but also we simulated the performance of the BPRO. So this is a simulation that we run from May 1st, 2014 till November 5, 2019. It has certain parameters being set in the platform, which are adversarial parameters. It's not the most optimistic scenario, it's a pessimistic scenario. And in this pessimistic scenario, if you bought a Bitcoin at $436 in May 1, 2014, by the end of, or by the beginning of November 2019, the simulation provides us an increase in the price of performance of nearly 70%. But this is a simulation. So we have run several ones, and we are pretty sure that the BPRO will outperform the Bitcoin price especially in a bull run. But luckily we've been this platform the protocol being deployed at the beginning of October last year, but we opened to the public by December. So here you see the price of the Bitcoin and the price of the BPRO, and as you see the real performance of the platform, when the price of Bitcoin increases, the price of BPRO been increasing a little bit further, and vice versa, as I mentioned. But especially if we were to go to see this in detail, these prices, if you go to see, like for example, here when the price of Bitcoin, we launched it with the price of Bitcoin at a little bit more than $8,000. But when the price of Bitcoin was quite lower, like 7,000, even having a little bit of leverage, the influence of this passive income that's been taken from the traders, this influence also on the price. So even with a lower price of the Bitcoin, you can be compensated through the passive income that it gets from the leverage operations. So all in all, up to now, it's been like 4% in annual return. This is the same graph, but in terms of yield, of the annualized yield of BPRO since launch. And as you see, this was actually the biggest crash in the price of Bitcoin in the last 7 years. And here actually is where you can see the robustness of the system. I don't know how many of you follow other stablecoins, but as you know, other crypto collateral stablecoins near collapsed, and in our case, it was business as usual. Of course, if you went out of your BPRO position during the crash, it wouldn't be a very wise decision because you will assume a lot of it was not a good performance at that moment. But in the long run, we expect that when the price of Bitcoin goes up, this token will outperform the price of Bitcoin. So it's a token to get and to hold it for the long term. So the last token that I'm going to present is the BTCX. The BTCX is a leveraged Bitcoin operation. It changes with the price of Bitcoin. But the leverage is fixed once you get the token. Okay, it has a fixed cost you have to pay. That's the passive income that received the BPRO, and it's paid when you purchase the token. And if you redeem this operation before the settlement, you will be refunded a proportional of the interest rate that are pending. So you pay the interest rate, but you can redeem it before, and you will get back part of your not usage interest. There is no margin call. This is something important. In our platform, you have a margin call. So if you are going to be liquidated, the system informs you. So in this case, we don't have this mechanism. There is no margin call. So your position can be liquidated. And if you don't understand about leverage operation in Bitcoin, please don't use this, because obviously it's a leverage operation. For example, if the price of Bitcoin goes down 50%, you will be liquidated if you got into that with a 2x leverage. So this is a risky token thought for traders who are used to do leverage operations. For them, it's a marvelous opportunity, because one of the difference of this token is that it has a very low interest, especially if you get the BTCX when nobody is using. There's a huge incentive for traders to use this, because if now no one is using this, the interest rate that you will have to pay to do the leverage operation will tend to be zero. So it's very cheap. But that's one of the main reasons. So I don't know if we can do a post here and just see if anybody has any question. No? Okay. If nobody has any question, I will do okay, Maker project has recently added WBTC as collateral to the DAI stablecoin. Can you comment on their solution? Well, it's a different solution to ours. They have several tokens as collateral, and the system is completely different. It's like you make a loan onto the coins that you send. In our case, you send Bitcoin or RBTC, which the RBTC is the same as Bitcoin because you need BTC to have RBTC, and you trade your position. You trade your Bitcoins for the stablecoin if you want the stablecoin. So you send 1,000 of RBTC and you will receive 1,000 dogs. And the same with BPRO, and the same in the case of the leverage operation. So it's not a loan onto your position, but you are exchanging your Bitcoins through Bitcoins who has different risk profiles or different levels. In the case of the stablecoin, you will have a fixed price with the price of dollar, and in the case of BitPro, as I mentioned, it has different features. I don't know if Ati, if that's been explained. If not, I will.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect.
But I have another question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
So, what's the system? How can you keep this exchange rate fixed if the collateral is volatile? How the exchange rate is fixed?
Well, I have not explained that in detail, but the users that are getting the volatility are the BitPro holders and especially the traders. So if you take the dollar on chain, you are getting stability and someone else is getting that volatility. And how it works is not something very easy to explain, but it works through smart contracts with a financial model that's been tested and, as I mentioned, is quite robust and been shown in this crash that it works. But mainly the way how it works is other users take the volatility. Okay.
Okay, I see. So other users can lose. I mean, if the exchange rate fluctuates a lot.
Well, it can support easily a 60, a 65, the simulation up to 75% price drop in the price of Bitcoin with no risk of liquidation. Okay, if the price of Bitcoins decreases 90% in 1 hour, well, there is a risk of the system will be liquidated, and in that case, what happens is that the BitPro are liquidated, and the dollar on chain holder will receive the amount of Bitcoins. The amount of dollars in Bitcoins at the moment of the liquidation. That's written in the smart contract. That's how it works. But before having that,
I think he was asking about
before the sorry.
He was asking about the interest rate. He was asking about the interest rate.
Sorry, I don't know. 80. I don't know if I was addressing your question.
Yeah. No, you were addressing my question. I have not about interest rate, about the volatility of collateral. I was just wondering what's the mechanism. It sounds really interesting. Thank you.
Yes, and only having we have several mechanisms before having any liquidation. That, for example, there are several mechanisms for incentivize people to add collateral or for dollar on chain holders to sell their dollar on chain. Like, for example, with this huge drop in the price of Bitcoin in March, any of those mechanisms were activated. So it ran really smoothly because it's highly over collateralized our system. And maybe the most important secret of that is that we have found a way to over collateralize the system, and this over collateralized is being used. Someone else is using that are the traders that are taking these leverage operations. So the main difference is all the incentive mechanism that has the protocol behind, that we think that are the important thing for people to use it, for users to adopt it. So if there is, we will go back to, I don't know, if I've been able to address your question.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. So I will go back to the presentation. I will show you the platform. Let me share here, and I will share. So here I'm in the platform. Before that, very easy to get here. You put access to the mainnet, and it will get you there. But if it's the first time that you are going to use the platform, maybe it will be easy for use, but you will need to follow an instruction how to set up your MetaMask wallet and how to sorry, I will put it in English. And here there is a tutorial, a very easy in Medium, with very easy 3-step how to get the wallet if you don't have a MetaMask or Nifty wallet, and how to set up your wallet, and then how to use the platform. Okay, and as I mentioned, you can use CoinSwitch. Here are all the links, all the videos. So any doubt that you have, you can use these instructions. But also we have this Telegram group where you can do any question also, and if you still have any question, you can contact with us. Okay, but once you have in this case I have I'm using, I have configured, install a MetaMask wallet. I already configured it. You need to configure it in case you are going to use MetaMask. You have to configure an RPC, how that it shows you that to connect to the RSK network. And once you are connected, and in my case, I have already RBTC. I have, as you can see here in my wallet, I have a little bit of RBTC. And in the platform, it's protected also. It's in the wallet also. It's not in the platform. It's in it's in the wallet, which is connected to the smart contracts. And I have the equivalent of $644, which are in these 3 different tokens. So I have $245 on chain. I have a little bit of BPRO, and I have bought a little bit of BTC2X. Okay, actually, you don't buy. What you do is you mint or you redeem, because actually you are minting the dollar on chain in this case. If you want to mint $10 on chain, what you need to do is go here and buy or mint, and you put this. This tells you that this amount of RBTC is equivalent to $743 on chain, but I'm going to mint 50, and you put confirm. It will tell me that I will have to pay a fee of 0.1%, and when I confirm, it will interact through the MetaMask wallet to the RSK network. You have just be aware to put the price of the guys. This is the fee that the Bitcoin miner will get for mining this transaction. When you confirm, this is a on-chain transaction, so now it's pending, and in 20 to 40 seconds it will change the status to confirming. Actually, when it's confirming, it's like confirmed. Okay, so you will be able actually to redeem or to send it to someone else. So as I mentioned, this is in the home page. This is how to mint the dollar on chain. If you want to mint BPRO, it's exactly the same mechanism. I can mint a little bit of BPRO. Now I'm minting the equivalent of nearly $100 in BPRO. And as you see, it's exactly the same mechanism, very, very easy to do. And if you want to mint BTC2X, it's also exactly the same mechanism. Okay, only that you have to select BTC2X. The only difference, as you see here, besides paying the fee of 0.1%, here it tells you that there is an interest rate that this trader will have to pay, which is the equivalent of 0.5% for being able to take part of the collateral to use to do this leverage operation. Okay, so if I confirm, well, this is too much. I'm using all my phones. But if I try this, it will tell you how much it's going to trade. Okay, I'm not going to do that. But as you see, the other two operations being confirmed. So now I have $50 more in my balance. In the total in my balance, I have less BTC, and I have $50 more on chain and a little bit more of BitPro. Also, this has like a wallet. You can send from here on chain to whoever has a Nifty wallet or a MetaMask wallet connected with a Scale network. And if you see here on the BitPro, you will see also the interest rate that the BitPro is getting. So now it's getting, besides the free leverage that they have, that the leverage right now of the BitPro is 7%. So if the price of Bitcoin goes up $100, you will get $107. And besides that, you have an interest rate. You are earning an annual interest rate of 2.5%. This interest rate changes from time to time. It's been paid in the past like 8%. It depends on the demand and supply of the trades that the leverage operation do. So now it's like in the middle, okay? And here, well, I have shown you the BitPro, the BTC2X, the wallet it shows you, for example, which is the actual leverage that you will be paying if you, that you will be getting if you do a BTC2X operation right now. If you buy now a BTC2X, instead of getting a 2x leverage, you will be getting a 1.5% leverage. And why is that? Because this leverage is set to 2 every 30 days. But since that settlement day, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, the leverage offered by the system will be going down, and vice versa. If from the settlement date the price of the Bitcoin goes down, the leverage will go higher. So you have to look here and to think if you want to do this leverage operation with this leverage, okay? So besides besides the home page, there is this exchange pay or minting and redeeming page where you can also interact. Always you go from RBTC. If you are in RBTC, you can mint or redeem all the other tokens, or vice versa. If you have BitPro or BTC2X, you can go to only to redeem the 2 BTC. This is not an exchange. What we are building besides that, besides this, is an exchange. Here also there is a metrics page where you can see all the metrics of the system. We are going to add with time more metrics, but for example, you can see here the global coverage of the system, the actual objective coverage, it has a target coverage of the minimum is 4, but when the price of Bitcoin goes higher than the median average, this target coverage increases. So there is more coverage in case the price of Bitcoin goes down fast. So we have the global coverage, we have the leverage that I have mentioned before. Here it says how many, for example, how many Bitcoins are in the system. There are like 42 Bitcoins in the system. How many dollar on chain been mint, and how many dollar on chain have been able to mint or to redeem before the settlement. So this is a fast look onto the platform. There is only one more thing that I'm going to show here, which is the settlement to redeem dollar on chain. As I mentioned, your dollar on chain, you can redeem the dollar on chain at nearly every moment. Up to now, there has been no problem at all to redeem the dollar on chain, but the dollar on chain are like the counterpart of the BTC2X leverage operation. So actually, now are mint like $67,000 on chain, but a part of the dollar on chain are collateral to the long operations. So only there's able to redeem $27,000. If you are not being able to redeem because everybody redeemed the dollar on chain, you can always go here, and at the settlement date, at the next settlement date is in 8 days, you will be able to redeem your dollar on chain. Okay, so you can always redeem at any moment. The only thing that you are going to get those tokens at the settlement date. So I don't know. This is a very short demo of the platform, how to use it. Let's see. I want to see if there is any. I don't know if there is any question for anybody. If not, I thank you a lot for your time. We will be doing this kind of webinars and presentation weekly. So if anybody wants if you know anybody who has any question, again, you can join our Telegram group, or we'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you a lot for your time, and hopefully we will see. I will be able to see you in Frankfurt in August. Cheers.